On August 28, 1859, miners in the Rocky Mountains woke to auroras so bright they brewed breakfast in the dark, believing the sun had risen 4 hours early. You are about to discover how a sudden storm of magnetized plasma fried global communication networks, why telegraph operators typed messages with their batteries completely disconnected, and how a lone amateur astronomer sketched the exact solar explosion that doomed the Victorian electric age. At 11:18 a.m. on September 1st, English astronomer Richard Christopher Carrington sat in his private observatory in Red Hill, Surrey, peering through an 11-foot focal-length telescope. Projecting the sun's image onto a plate of glass, Carrington mapped sunspot group number 82, a sprawling magnetic monster measuring over 130,000 kilometers across the solar equator. Without warning, two blinding arcs of white light erupted directly over the umbra of the sunspots, blazing with a ferocity that eclipsed the blinding solar surface itself for roughly 5 minutes. Carrington rushed to fetch a witness, but by the time he returned 60 seconds later, the blinding white nuclei had vanished, leaving behind only expanding ripples of plasma. That expulsion hurled 1 billion tons of magnetized coronal mass ejection directly into the inner solar system, hurtling through the vacuum of space at an unprecedented speed of 2,300 kilometers per second. Normally, solar ejections take 3 to 4 days to reach Earth, but Carrington's solar bomb compressed the transit time to a staggering 17 hours and 40 minutes. Just 17 hours later, at 1 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time on September 2nd, the shockwave slammed into Earth's magnetosphere, compressing it past the geosynchronous orbit boundary. Across the globe, telegraph systems instantly mutated from communication tools into chaotic dynamos, drawing massive geomagnetically induced currents straight from the Earth. In Boston, operators at the American Telegraph Company watched blue electric arcs leap 4 inches from their brass register keys to their knuckles.
We have not worked our batteries for 2 hours, yet our lines are operating perfectly on auroral current alone.
Telegraph lines from Washington, D.C. to Boston remained operational for over 2 hours with their mainline batteries completely disconnected from the circuits. In Philadelphia, operator Frederick Royce watched his telegraph paper roll catch fire from the intense heat generated by the induced electrical surges. In the night skies above Havana, Cuba, blood-red auroras roared to life so intensely that astonished citizens ran into the streets believing the city was burning down. Sailors aboard ships in the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico navigated by the eerie purple light of the aurora, reporting that print in a newspaper could be read clearly at midnight. In Melbourne, Australia, and Santiago, Chile, the southern lights painted the horizon in violent shades of crimson, disrupting navigational compasses by up to 10 degrees. Birds across North America began singing pre-dawn melodies at 2 in the morning, completely disoriented by the false daylight cascading across the upper atmosphere. Telegraph offices in Paris and London experienced severe system failures as melting wires fused together inside their protective wooden conduits. By midday on September 3rd, the geomagnetic storm subsided, leaving behind a baffled scientific community and a temporary global blackout of the Victorian information superhighway. Should an identical coronal mass ejection strike our hyper-connected planet today, the ensuing electrical apocalypse would erase global communications, silence the internet, and cost trillions before the first sunrise.